Welcome back to another edition of House of Prep. My name's Jerry. Glad that you're here with me today. First of all, if you don't mind, hit that little subscribe button right underneath. If you haven't done so already, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the little bell, and also if you haven't already, and that'll give you some reminders every time I do a video. So in today's video, wanted to talk about long-term food storage. Some folks like to do a lot of canning, which I think is phenomenal, by the way. I remember even when I was a child growing up and watching my grandmother and my mother, whether they're doing preserves or any type of vegetables from the garden, it was always neat to see the jars and the processes that they would use for canning and such. So that's a long-term storage. Freeze-dried food is another great option. I personally have chosen Mountain House to be my stock. There's lots of varieties out there. There's lots of different companies. For some reason, I'm wired this way that once I start on a same company and once I start organizing and getting my food stocks together, I just like the same company. I just like uniformity, right? Want everything to look the same, to be the same. And that's just my preference. There's a lot of companies out here. I am going to put a link down below in my description for Mountain House. So if you would like to pull it up to look at it further, a little more research on it, or if you wanted to be able to purchase one to try, you're more than welcome to do that if you'd like. They also sell these at a lot of stores. I know, like at Walmart, the camping section. That's my favorite spot to stop by, and I like to always check and see how their stock is going. You can get different freeze-dried foods for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. They have all kinds of little things that you can choose from. The dates on these go for 30 years. That's actually my number one reason why I like these. It's because of the long shelf life. It's kind of one of those, you buy it and you don't have to worry about it. In fact, I brought this out here with me. Other than the pantry, these little containers, and you can put the lid on there. They're stackable. They're small enough to slide in a bedroom closet in a nice dark environment friendly area. I wouldn't recommend storing these out in a shed or in your hot garage in the summer, but you can put those little containers, slide them under the bed. I mean, you can stash them just about anywhere, and I just like it. It keeps them from ever getting damaged or ripped open if there's too much activity going on. It's just another way to protect your investment. That's what these are. It's an investment. You start getting a whole sack of these things. They can range from anywhere to $7 to $10 if you shop around in different things. So you want to be able to protect these, and whether it's putting them up on a high shelf in the back or in a different shelf in the kitchen somewhere behind dishes and things, you just kind of store them and forget them. You don't have to worry about that constant rotation. For example, this one I have in my hand is dated till 2050. Okay, so we got some ways to go before I would have to worry about this going bad. Number two reason that nice to have these around, if you're going hiking, backpacking, what your hobby is, canoeing, you're out for a day of a trip, or an overnight camping trip, or the weekend out in the cabin, in the woods, anywhere. These are real nice. They're easy to make. You can pack them with you, bring a heating source, make sure you have a water source, and you're good to go. The directions on here are very simple to understand and to follow. And another reason that I like these in particular too is that you can store them, and then when you do have some sort of a food crisis that happens, and you start going through all your normal stock, you start going through all your supplies, you start emptying out the fridge, all of a sudden, ta-da, these become the hero, right? You start pulling these things out. Now, one note that I wanted to make on these is on the back. If you can probably see here, I'll get a little closer so you can look here. And like I said, if you pull it up online, through the link, you can kind of look yourself. It's a high sodium count, okay? So I wouldn't want to make this my daily lifestyle for these. In fact, if you are having to get into these at some point, I would use these in hand to hand with other things, where you got some canned vegetables, you got some rice, beans, you know, open one of these up, spread it around, especially if you're feeding a family. You know, the serving size on these is for two. But if you're supplementing it with lots of other items, you know, it helps stretch your meals further. And when you're in any type of a food shortage or a crisis where you can't really get out of your house to go shopping or anything that's going on, you know, that's the goal. You want to be able to stretch your resources. You don't want them just disappearing, and before you know it, now you just have to eat nothing but these. And I think that sodium count will probably mess us up pretty quick if this is all we were eating for a consistent week or two at a time. So if you haven't tried this idea yet, it's worth a shot. It's worth a try. And like I said, it's simple, it's easy. It's one of those things you can toss up, and like I said, anywhere and store them. They're lightweight. That's the other good thing about them, is they're very light. I mean, they're not. I mean, in comparison, if you had a whole row of cans or a whole row of jars, you have a whole row of these. I mean, they're super light. They're easy. They're portable. If you did have a get home bag or a bug out bag that you like to have, these are super lightweight to put in there, and you could stick 2 or 3 in there. You'd be good to go for a couple days. You wouldn't have to worry about carrying cans and every heavy items. Super lightweight and portable if you're moving around your house, or if you went through a large house-to-house move like I did a couple months back. Super easy and portable to have in a box and in these containers that I pick up. Very easy. So think about that as a long-term source. So I hope that you are continuing to prep your pantry. And if you haven't, if this is one of your first times watching my video or other videos like that, and you're looking for ideas, this was one idea I had, is putting all my spices racks right on the inside of my door. And then I used my techniques that works in my household, working with canned goods. Then you have like your other storage items in beans and different things, and mashed potatoes and starches and different things. And you work your way down in your pantry. You organize it to the best of your ability. Make sure it's organized. Make sure it's clean. Depending on what area you live in, if you're in town or a little more rural, you want to keep things clean. You don't want rodents getting in here. And that's another reason why it's good to have another container to seal up, to protect these things, because these things could be chewed through. Even if they were just wanting to be chewing, they don't even really want what's in there. Sometimes they'll just chew it. Well, they'll ruin this thing. And that's, like I said, it's money. It's an investment. So I hope that you all are doing well. And I wanted to just take a few minutes and just giving you another alternative. It's another variety item that you can use in your preps. And thank you very much for joining in, and I'll catch y'all on the next video.